Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our Premiere project and we're going to add some audio tracks. So I'm not going to put this in the audio section. I'm putting this in the video section because when we go into the audio section, it'll be on how to modify or correct or enhance audio. Here, I just want to add some audio. So in this particular exercise, the audio is not synchronized. So we don't have like a person talking on screen. So you have a lot of leeway when you're doing this type of thing. So there's a voiceover, and the video tracks are actually, the audio on the video tracks is not being used. And then what I want to do is I want to do a project where you actually have some synchronized audio with someone talking, because editing that is a totally different game. Let's go ahead and use that first project we've been working with all along, and let's drop some audio on the track and edit it. So here I am. I'm going to go down and open up that Premiere project. And what I want to do first, now some people, what I like to do is cut to music. Some people, you can overdo that as well, right? So sometimes what I like to do, in this case, we have the sequence 1, which is an audio track. And if I double click, I open up that audio folder, there's 2 pieces of audio. One is, open up the audio folder. One is a voiceover, and I can scrub through it, and then I can also click and play it.
This is my story of returning home.
And you see there's a lot of space between those different clips.
To the land
So I
of
can cut each one of those out and put them on a different spot on my timeline. And then the other is a piece of music, and I can play through that as well. So it's about 1.5 minutes of music. So what I'm going to do in this case is I want to edit to the music. I'm going to grab that music track, drag it and put it down. Grab the little drag only, put it down on the bottom here, and put that on one of the tracks. So I've got that on track 4. And so now I've got some music on the timeline. And what I want to do now is add the clips to the timeline and have the clips transition to the music. And so if I was doing this for real, I'd spend a lot more time with it. I'm going to grab each one of the clips and drag them onto the timeline. Now I can open up the clips, double click, and watch them play. And set in and out points. So that's the same clip. One's got audio, and it's just noise. So let's say I use this clip. I'm going to drag it to the timeline, and you'll see that this clip, there's no sound, and the other one, there's audio connected to this particular clip, and I don't want the audio. So what I'll do is I'll right-click, and I'll unlink that, and I can just delete it or undo that. What I can do is I can actually open this up by grabbing this little slider here, this little bar, and dragging that all the way down and turning the audio off. So I don't want the same clip twice, so I'll delete one and put one at the beginning. Oh, so that's what happens when you, I unlinked it. So let me undo that. And let me just drag it onto the timeline. And then what I'm going to do is grab that and drag it all the way down so it's not visible or audible. And I'm just going to grab a few more clips, drag them onto the timeline. And I don't need the audio, so I can either drag the audio all the way down or I can unlink it. Then I'll just build up a few tracks here. That was really short, isn't it? Oh, it's just using part of what I had here. Let's undo that and I'll use the whole clip. Grab that and just drag that all the way out. And now I'm using the whole clip. Let's just put a couple more on here. So it's in and out points. And this one's got audio. And so I can just grab those audio tracks and drag them all the way down since I don't need the audio for this particular project. I'll just grab that audio and just drag it all the way down so it's not playing. And then I can use that to actually enhance the audio. So now I've got something built on the timeline here. So I think that one clip takes a little too long, so I'll shorten it. And I'll click in between those two clips and hit the delete key, and I'll collapse it. And so, you know, I would go about building it in such a fashion as this. And now what I want to do is I want to add in the voiceover. So I'm going to come over and open up that voiceover. And I only need a part of this. I'll just drag it to this first piece here, and I'll set an in and an out point over that first piece. And then I'll drag it down and put it on the timeline. So now it's going to go like this.
This is my story of returning home.
And I'll just come in and grab that next piece here, set an in and an out point, and then I will drag it over the next clip so that they're kind of synchronized here. And the music is playing underneath everything, and I've removed the audio from the track.
To the land of the eternal spring.
Now the music's a little loud, right? So I can modify the volume by clicking in that track and dragging the whole thing down. Or I can grab my little pen tool and I can click on that track and add in control points. And then I can grab that control point and drag it down. So I can actually drag the audio down so that it's in the background a little bit.
This is my story of returning home. To the land of the eternal spring.
And so I would just keep building in this fashion. Let's grab another piece here.
Yes.
And then I'm going to grab the audio and drag it and drop it into the timeline. And so in this case, the audio is not, we don't have any synchronized communication. So you can just be very creative with this. And they space the audio out really good here. And then all we need to do on the timeline is adjust the volume. And I can do that one or two ways. One is to put in with my pen tool, click on that little midline and drag that up and down to increase and decrease the decibel volume of the track. And then I can also add my pen tool, click in there and edit the audio directly. And I can actually ramp it. I can click in here and add a couple points and then drag it down into a certain point and drag it up in certain points. And there's other tools in here that allow you to lay audio and voiceover together and modify them. And so basically, I'm just going to lay those tracks in there like that. And then we already looked at how to add transitions and how to fade in. And so if we have something like this.
This is my story of returning home. To the land of the eternal spring. A la tierra de mis raíces.
And basically just build off the whole project from there. All right, let's stop there. So what we did is we added some audio to the timeline. We had two audio tracks. One's a voiceover, the other piece of music. Show you how to drop the audio up in the source box here, trim the audio, drag it into the timeline. And then in this case, the audio for the video tracks are not being used. So we just either delete them or we can drag them down so that they're not being heard. And then we added in a separate track for the voiceovers and a separate track for the music. And I can add as many tracks as I need for my audio. And I just want to get that audio in place, and then I'll begin to fine tune.